lawmakers. President Obama is pushing for new gun control measures after last month's massacre in Newtown, Connecticut. It's our focus this morning. This week, Vice President Biden's new task force searched for ways to curb gun violence and tragedies like Newtown, meeting with voices from various sides of the issue, including those for and against stiffer gun controls. Reverend Michael McBride was one of the 12 national faith leaders invited to the White House, and he joins us this morning. Reverend, nice to see you. Take us behind closed doors, if you will, and give us the headlines. I mean, what did you, the Vice President, and the others discuss?
Well, good morning, Randy, and certainly thank you for having me here. We had a wonderful opportunity to have a constructive conversation with our Vice President and his task force about the importance of having a very moral voice and imperative to address the spiraling and out-of-control tragedies of gun violence in our country. And it was an amazing opportunity for a number of us, faith leaders all across this country from various different faith traditions and denominations to lift up our voices in concert and talk about the moral imperatives that are before us to address all the many forms of gun violence that continue to shatter and impact so many lives in our country.
Did the Vice President ask for ideas? And also, I'm curious if he sent you back with a message to bring to your congregation.
Well, certainly, you know, there were a number of ideas that were talked about, and I personally carried into the conversation a story of one of my young teenagers that I've had to bury, and how in his funeral there were over 500 teenagers in the church during his funeral, and I asked how many of them have been to more than one funeral, more than 2 funerals, more than 5 funerals. I got all the way up to 10 funerals. And over half of the young people wept with their hands in the air. And it was an important moment because I believe, and all of our bishops and clergy across the country believe, that this tragic incident is an opportunity to unite all Americans around common sense solutions to address gun violence. And we were able to lift up a lot of the same strategies of universal background checks, assault weapons bans, mental health interventions, but also comprehensive and proven targeted strategies to address violence in cities all across this country.
Let me ask you why there does appear to be a divide among Christians when it comes to gun control. I mean, a Public Religion Research Institute survey, which was taken before the Newtown shooting, showed that white evangelical Protestants were less likely to favor tighter gun laws than Catholics. So white mainline Protestants are religiously unaffiliated Americans. Why do you think that is?
Thank you for that, Sharmina. I think that's a wonderful question. We should not be surprised that many of our people of faith in this country, who are all Americans, are very much passionate about the Second Amendment and gun rights. At the same time, we should also not be surprised that there are just as many people of faith, if not more, who are all in favor of common sense gun laws and promoting a culture of peace and healing in our communities. And I believe that it is our time and our moment to look within ourselves and the principles of our faith to unite our country around a common moral imperative to address the gun violence that is in our country. Even to those statistics that you've just lifted up, interestingly enough, the National Association of Evangelicals have just put out their most recent report that over 70% of their evangelical leaders all support common sense gun laws. So it is an opportunity for us as leaders to go back to our congregations, to our communities all across this country with all our wonderful diversity and share that we have a moment to unite our country around common sense gun laws that saves lives.
And this may be a moment, but certainly the NRA is gearing up for a fight. Joe Biden has said that maybe the president might take executive action here, an executive order. Are you confident that something will change, that something will get done?
I'm not only confident, I'm filled with hope, I'm filled with optimism. Many of the NRA members agree with these common sense gun laws. It is a very small number of NRA lobbyists, gun industry advocates who are really not representing the will of their own membership. So part of what is important for all of us, people of faith NRA members, all of us, is to make sure that we do not let a small number of profiteering NRA executives hijack this whole conversation and cause us to miss this moment to make sure that our children can live in neighborhoods, schools, free from the fear of gun violence. And I believe that we're up for the challenge.
Reverend Michael McBride, pleasure to see you this